Indonesia, one of the world's biggest emitters of carbon dioxide, has a coal addiction. In 2022, Indonesia burned coal to generate 2/3 of its electricity, warming the planet and pushing it deeper into the climate crisis. To stop its coal addiction, the Indonesian government has ambitiously planned to phase out coal in favor of renewable energy. One way being through the development of hydropower energy. It is estimated that Indonesia has large potential for hydropower electricity at 94 gigawatts. With its abundant potential and the fact that hydropower contributes about half of Indonesia's current renewable energy, hydropower is also expected to make up the bulk of Indonesia's transition to renewable energy, with about 10 gigawatts, or roughly a quarter of the total added electricity by 2030. Expected to come from hydropower. But what does this mean for the environment? Is hydropower truly the best source of renewable energy for Indonesia? The Jakarta-Post recently traveled to the site of the Poso hydropower plant, the largest hydropower dam in eastern Indonesia, to get to the bottom of the story. The Poso hydropower plant is located in the Poso Regency in the middle of Sulawesi Island and at least a 6-hour drive from the central Sulawesi capital of Palu. The plant also received special attention from President Joko Widodo, who flew out to Poso to inaugurate the Poso hydropower plant complex last year on February 25th.
Pagi hari ini saya sangat senang sekali. Kenapa? Karena kita semuanya akan meresmikan sebuah pembangkit listrik tenaga air yang itu adalah berarti energi hijau, berarti adalah EBT.
Joko Widodo said that all countries were encouraged to shift away from fossil fuel to green energy, of which Indonesia has abundant potential with up to 418 gigawatts made up of hydropower, geothermal, solar, wind, and tidal power.
Semuanya ada di negara kita. Hanya bagaimana kita bisa menggeser dari yang coal, batu bara ini pada energi hijau. Ini juga bukan pekerjaan yang mudah, karena sudah terlanjur banyak sekali PLTU kita.
The 550 megawatt hydropower plant is operated by Poso Energy, a subsidiary of Makassar-based conglomerate Kala Group, which is run by the family of Yusuf Kala, a businessman cum politician and former vice president of Indonesia. The hydropower plant complex is located on a section of Poso River at Sulewana village, where water comes from Lake Poso, the third largest lake in Indonesia. The complex also includes 3 powerhouses, where generators are installed on site with an electricity capacity of 120 megawatts, 195 megawatts, and 200 megawatts, totaling 515 megawatts, which could power 500,000 to over 1 million homes. The Poso plant is expected to produce up to 1,669 gigawatt per hour per year, to be distributed by state electricity company PLN to Central Sulawesi, South Sulawesi, and Southeast Sulawesi. In particular, the power plant will provide electricity to smelters in Sulawesi, which has seen an increase in smelters as Indonesia develops its electric vehicle battery industry. The power plant started its trial run in 2019 and has been fully operational since 2021. However, as the hydropower plant started operating, some villagers began to feel the environmental impact of the hydropower complex on their livelihood and way of life. One of these villagers is Freddy Kalengke, a traditional fisherman living in the Tentena sub-district, Poso Regency. He makes a living by catching a local fish and sidat, which is a migratory eel found in Lake Poso and Poso River. The sidat catching site is on the Poso River near the headway where the lake meets the river, about 13 kilometers from the Poso hydropower plant. Before the Poso River was dredged, starting in 2019, to increase the water outflow into the hydropower complex, Freddy could make a fortune from catching and selling sidat. The income from selling sidat was enough for Freddy and his wife, Sritati Rakota, to send their 3 children to school. The oldest one just graduated from the electrical engineering department at the Tadulako University in Palu, Central Sulawesi, while their middle child is still in university and the third one is in high school.
Kami membiayai anak kami 2 di Tadulako, Palu, di Untat dengan hasil dari pagar Sogili. Iya, bisa bantu-bantu kami. Iya.
Pada sebelum ada perusahaan sini, penghasilan kami bagus. Sangat bagus sekali pendapatan Sugili di pagar. Kalau orang di sini Sugili, pakai masapi, bahasa Posonya masapi Sugili itu ikan sidat ini. Biasanya kami dapat sampai 20 kilo per malam, 30 kilo, malah ada yang dapat 40 kilo.
But these days, Freddy counts himself lucky if he can catch 5 kilograms of eels in one night, which has become a rare occasion. Kurniawan Banjolu, a biology researcher and activist for Poso-based environmental group Mosintowo Institute, pointed out that the construction of the hydropower plant likely contributed to the declining population of the eels, as the plant construction blocked the fish migratory path. Kurniawan explained that sexually mature sidat silver eels living in Poso Lake migrated downriver to mate and spawn in the Tomini Gulf off the coast of Poso City.
Nah, pada saat ini sudah ada bendungan di sana dan kemudian ada turbin yang jelas itu sangat-sangat mengganggu dari jalur naik turun transportasi sidat itu sendiri.
Previously, after the eggs hatch, the newly born eels would spend their larval stage and glass eel stage in the Tomini Gulf. The eels then would enter the alver or juvenile stage, during which the eels would slowly migrate upriver until reaching the silver eel stage, then becoming a migratory adult in Lake Poso.
Glass eel, kemudian alver itu akan naik lagi ke Danau Poso dengan mudah karena tidak ada proses blokade bendungan di situ. Tapi sekarang udah ada.
Ne samodata mantorara nindi anerayata mangarata rasi lese sako joyore riwaya masapi pagonya turung ada kobangani isemaya untano anu be mancani riranore waya bompo wani sondo moko jotau rata mangancabi
When the sidat eels were abandoned, there used to be hundreds of fishermen with fish traps on the Poso River near the freshwater estuary. Now, only 3 are left. Freddy is one of them, and he is determined to keep his way of life with his fish traps and sidat eels.
Mabon koraya ua resililenge morasi mantomu pe betendeme. Saya mau mati di sini ya biasa. Saya akan berlawanan. Mau siapapun yang datang saya akan berlawanan, Pak. Saya tidak takut. Mati sekarang dengan besok sama. Iyo.
The fishermen are not the only communities suffering from the impact of the power plant. In Meko village, located east of Lake Poso, some 114 farmers reported that 69 hectares of their rice fields were flooded shortly after the hydropower plant dam started its trial run in 2019. Dewa Nyoman Lokawirawan is one of those farmers. In 2020, 0.8 hectares of his rice fields were submerged.
Kebetulan pada saat itu mau panen, ternyata air itu mendadak tanpa ada hujan, tanpa cuaca yang ekstrim, tiba-tiba air naik sehingga menenggelamkan hasil pertanian kami. Pada saat itu seharusnya sudah kami panen, ternyata sirna karena air yang mendadak naik pada tahun 2020 tersebut.
Igede Sukartana, the head of Meko village, said rice farmers in the village used to plant according to the local weather pattern, planting and harvesting during the dry season and then taking a break during the rainy season, which usually took place between March to June when the lake's water level was too high.
Nah, ketika Poso 1 dibangun, maka air sudah tidak surut-surut lagi, sehingga ada sebagian sawah-sawah petani terendam, tidak bisa diolah lagi. Ada kurang lebih 96 hektar kalau Meko, khusus desa saya, desa Meko 96 itu ada 114 pemilik ada di dalamnya. Dari sejak itulah maka masyarakat kehilangan mata pencaharian.
With the loss of the rice fields, the farmers have had to look for other sources of income. Some becoming daily laborers, while others have turned to tending plantations on drier land, such as farmer Dewa Nyoman, who tried his luck on his small patch of a quarter-hectare durian plantation that was passed down from his parents. Aside from durian trees, Dewa Nyoman also tried his luck planting oil palm trees.
Harapan kami bertani di lahan sawah yang tenggelam, karena dampak itu akhirnya kami merasa harus ada alternatif penghasilan. Dengan segala upaya kami berupaya beli bibit sawit ini dari hasil-hasil kerja serabutan kami, sehingga ada harapan ke depan kami bertanam sawit. Mudah-mudahan ke depan bisa menjamin masa depan keluarga.
On the southeast coast of Poso Lake, a village called Tokilo was also flooded. The flood particularly affected around 200 hectares of grazing fields where 700 water buffaloes used to roam. Ben Hurbondoke, one of Tokilo village buffalo farmers, said the buffalo population had reduced from 700 to just around 400 buffaloes, following the trial run of the regulating dam throughout 2019 and 2020 that flooded the grazing field, reducing the buffalo supply of food. He said that during the dam's trial run, as many as 90 buffaloes died from starvation, while many of the buffaloes ran amok, invading villagers' farmlands and going into neighboring villages.
Kemudian setelah Poso energi ini beroperasi, kondisi air danaunya tidak pernah terjadi lagi siklus yang seperti yang tahun-tahun sebelumnya. Turunnya permukaan air danau tidak terjadi lagi. Malah padang penggembalaan kita, ini yang kelihatan ini, kalau dulunya ini kering, ini tidak ada air. Tapi sekarang sudah begini situasinya, sehingga padang penggembalaan itu semakin mengecil.
With the lake water no longer following the old natural cycle, many parts of the grazing fields were no longer suitable to support buffaloes as much as they used to.
Petani lebih banyak menjual kerbaunya, iya, daripada mempertahankan kerbaunya. Jangan-jangan nanti airnya tidak surut lagi, pakannya tidak tersedia, sehingga kerbaunya bisa cuma mati percuma, sehingga banyak petani yang melakukan penjualan.
So could large hydropower projects truly be green and free from social and environmental impacts? Indonesian Forum for the Environment, or WALHI, campaign manager on spatial planning and infrastructure, Dwi Sawung, argued that the environmental impacts of large-scale hydropower far outweigh their supposed benefits.
Dampak lingkungannya besar banget dibandingkan nilai manfaatnya gitu. Macam-macam sih ya dampaknya ya, dan resikonya juga lebih besar kalau bangun bendungan yang besar. Beda kalau misalnya walaupun PLTA tapi skalanya lebih kecil ataupun dia istilahnya tidak membabat hutan dan merendam dalam jumlah yang besar, itu masih bisa disarankan, ataupun yang semacam mikro hidro begitu ya, jadi dia tidak membuat danau buatan begitu, danau buatan yang besar. Nah itu masih disepakati bahwa itu lebih ramah lingkungan.
Aside from the environmental and social risks of large-scale hydropower plants, they are also not as emission-free as they were thought to be, Sawung argued.
Kemudian juga sebenarnya kalau besar itu ada emisinya juga sebenarnya dari PLTA ya, terutama kalau dia tidak mampu membersih, nggak baik lah gitu ya pengelolaannya gitu ya. Nanti ada semacam zat organik di bawah di dalam airnya begitu, nanti ngeluarin gas metan, dan itu emisinya lebih tinggi sebenarnya dibandingkan kalau emisi metan ya.
Kurniawan from the Mosintowo Institute says that large infrastructure projects always impact the residents surrounding them, and the case of Poso should serve as a cautionary tale.
Sebuah pembangunan itu justru merespon bagaimana kebutuhan masyarakat, sehingga yang diuntungkan sebenarnya di situ masyarakat secara umum, tidak misalnya masyarakat di luar yang menikmati hasil dari PLTA itu sendiri, sementara masyarakat lokalnya justru keanekaragaman hayati dan keseimbangan lingkungannya terganggu.
Still, others see that while the social and environmental impacts of hydropower plants cannot be denied, there is still much untapped potential from hydropower. Fabi Tumiwa, Executive Director of the Institute for Essential Services Reform, or IESR, asserted that there was still room to develop hydropower plants as long as they followed sustainability standards. One such standard is the Hydropower Sustainability Standard, whose development was led by the International Hydropower Association and which covers up to 12 environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, topics, from biodiversity conservation to indigenous rights.
Saya kira kalau kita menggunakan standar ini secara ketat, ya, dampak sosial, lingkungan, dan governance itu bisa diminimalkan. Mungkin tidak bisa 100% dimitigasi, tapi bisa diminimalkan sehingga pengembangan PLTA-nya lebih berkelanjutan.
While the contribution of hydropower to Indonesia's current energy source and its potential in the efforts for a green transition cannot be denied, we also cannot look away from the large footprint hydropower has on its immediate environment. People like Pak Freddy, Pak Dewa Nyoman, and Pak Ben, just to name a few, are among those who live not far from a hydropower plant and have experienced how the environment changes as a result of the existence of a hydropower plant. If we want our energy sources to truly be green, we also need to ensure that they are kind to their immediate environment and societies, as well as to the planet.